Hello everyone, this is Pamela and I'd like to say welcome to my corner of the fiber arts. On my channel here, I like to focus on the 4 F's, the fiber arts, family, fitness, and fun. So go ahead and grab yourself a cup of coffee, something to snack on, and just sit back and relax and let's just enjoy some good old yarny crochet talk. Today it's going to be about my crochet fails and what I wish I knew. One reason why I want to bring this video to you guys is because hopefully this will help you. And like I said, I wish I knew this in the beginning when I first started, but through my journey of crocheting, these are some of the things that I have experienced, and I'm sure that you guys are too. And so number one, I'm going to start with your crochet hook. I feel like that's a very important, probably the number one thing is your crochet hook, deciding on what hook to use. I call it the hook struggle. So if you were like me, you probably started out with what you call the steel crochet hook. Honestly, well, I have one in this right here I can show you guys because I've thrown all of mine away. But this is like it's a little keychain, but this is like what a steel crochet hook is. It's just round, it's all metal. Yeah, so I started with that. It can give you hand cramps and they're so tiny. There's no, I mean, it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. They're skinny. There you go. They're very skinny. So I have since learned to help that. I came across these, I believe that these are clovers, and they're nice and flat. It has a thumb rest. And actually, I did a little research paper on crochet hooks, and one of the things that I did find out is, so hopefully I'm pronouncing his name correctly, Kippenberg, and he's the one who invented or patented the thumb rest crochet hooks. And that has been a blessing. So I use several different brands, and this is just a certain one that I find myself using the most, and I just buy these off Amazon. But yeah, it has a thumb rest for you. And it's a lot wider. It's not so skinny. See the difference? There you go. Anyway, so to me, this is even more important than you're picking out your yarn. Now, your yarn is very important too. Don't get me wrong, it is very important. But before you pick out yarn, you do need to pick out what type of crochet hook you want. So I would always recommend trying to find a crochet hook that has a thumb rest. And, you know, if possible, feel it, put it in your hand and do your motions and see what you think with it. I wish I knew that the right tool isn't just about the yarn. It's about saving your hands for a lifetime of stitching. Okay, so let's move on to number 2, the thread versus the yarn weight. One of the things that I learned is that if a pattern calls for, say, a thread yarn, and I use a medium 4 weight yarn, and I'm still using the hook size that they recommend for the thread yarn, that is just about always going to be a failure. You always need to adjust your hook according to the yarn that you are using. My Pamela's Adoring Crochet, I have all those in a medium 4 weight yarn. I always do the shoes and the hats and the clothes and things in between a 4.0, or depends on how tight. If I'm making the shoes, I like to go down a size of 4.0. And the clothes I usually do in an H of 5.0. So if you're making that and you're going down to a 3 weight or a very fine 4 weight yarn, and you're still using the H hook on it, your outfit will turn out tiny. It will not fit. So that's one of the things that I learned, is to always adjust your hook size. So the lesson from that is that I once tried making a delicate pattern using chunky, bulky yarn, and I ended up with a big old blanket spider web looking. So lesson learned on that one. Number 3, the pattern reading pitfall. And one of the things I have to say about that is read the instructions slowly and mark off each thing that you have done. Use a pencil, because you want to erase it so that keep your pattern nice and clean in case you want to make it again. But mark off each step. And also, one of the biggest things that I learned, and I learned this one pretty quick, is when you're making a pattern in UK terms, and there's a lot of them, a lot of patterns out there in UK terms, beautiful patterns. I love a lot of those patterns. So one of the things I learned really quick is that when it's saying double crochet and you're working an amigurumi, it really means single crochet. Or you're going to have a big old amigurumi with big holes in it. So yes, pay attention to that. Look at the conversion of what the US terms are to a UK term. So the lesson on that one, even as a pattern designer, and I've been in several magazines, is I've had spent hours frogging things because of little not reading patterns correctly, the UK term, before I understood what that was all about. So I'm telling you, especially if you're a newbie, to watch out for that. So always check off, underline, or something each little step that you've done. And number 4, I'd like to say, please don't get frustrated when you're crocheting and the things just aren't working out. Because even as a professional crocheter, I still make mistakes. It doesn't mean that I can't crochet very well. It just means that's all part of crocheting. That's just the life of a crocheter. Whether you're a beginner, an intermediate, or an advanced, having to frog things out, misreading patterns, making the mistakes, say, you're supposed to have 5 double crochets and 2 single crochets, 3 double crochets, and maybe 2 half double crochets, and then you maybe got to do some treble crochets, and you're on 2 or 3 rows and you realize, hey, this row isn't matching my other rows. It's normal. So try to not get frustrated with yourself. Just frog it out. That's all. Just pull out your yarn, start back over. It's not a big deal. And so the lesson from that is mistakes don't mean you aren't a real crocheter. They're just proof that you are learning. The pretty but painful yarn trap. The gorgeous hand-dyed fuzzy yarn. And it's so soft looking, it looks like a cloud. But it feels like a nightmare once it's on the hook. So there's one tip there about your yarn. Be careful about picking out your yarn. Do not buy your yarn based on how it looks, without considering how it's actually going to work up when you try to make stitches with it. But if you have to work with that type of yarn, maybe try using a brightly colored crochet hook, instead of maybe just a plain. Use a bright color one. Maybe that would help you. The wallet tip, always check the yardage on the yarn. It may look like a big skein of yarn, but it may not be much yardage in that yarn, because then it could affect your dye lot when you go back and you run out of yarn, you're in the middle of the project, or you just got 2 rows left and you don't have enough yarn and you got to run back to the store to get it. Well, by the time you go back to get that, it could be a whole new stack of yarn there with a whole different dye lot, which could affect your whole project. So always check the yardage and make sure you have enough. I always buy extra. The thing is, when you're crocheting with cotton yarn, be sure and check that, because if you're making a garment with that and it gets wet, let's say you make a cute little swim top or a little top or whatever to wear to the beach or somewhere, or it just rains on you. You got to be careful about that, where you plan on wearing it, because if it's yarn, 100% cotton yarn, it will look like a dress on you by the time the rain gets through with it. So watch out for that. Be careful on your whether you're going with acrylic or cotton and things like that. So check for that too. And then another tip is, when you are crocheting something, try to have a stitch marker on both ends, because if you don't, you may end up like this for a blanket instead of this for a blanket. So be sure and try to have a stitch marker, especially if you have a single crochet on each end, especially because sometimes when you're crocheting, you just don't know where that last stitch is. So I try to always have a stitch marker on both ends of my projects, if at all possible. Well, guys, that's all that I have for this video. I hope this has helped you guys. These are just some things that I have learned over the years of crocheting, and I just wanted to bring those to you. So guys, that's it. Just remember to keep crocheting, live life, have fun, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.